March 16th, 2021, regular Largo City Commission meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and tonight we're going to have an invocation by Pastor Debbie Kennedy of Liberty Worship Center. Following that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so please remain standing. Pastor?
Thank you very much for the honor to be here with you today. Dear Lord, I just thank you and I praise you for the men and the women that are here to serve our city. Dear Lord, I thank you that you're keeping them through difficult times, through times that are very, very challenging as leaders. Lord, I ask you to give them divine wisdom, unity, and understanding for the needs of our community, that we may grow a safe and healthy environment for our families to live in. I thank you for keeping them safe and protected. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Pastor Kennedy. Before we proceed, we have a procedural error, or a procedural issue to take care of. I'll need a motion from the commission to allow Vice Mayor Robinson and Commissioner Finger to attend virtually.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. First up on the agenda is Employee of the Quarter recognition. Ms. Simmons, thank you.
May I? Is this okay? If I'm okay.
You may.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Well, good evening. I have a button here, and I just want to highlight, it says, ready to say hello to a brighter work day. So you guys know our big implementation is on Sunday. So this is a really big thing for us. So I just wanted to have that little promotion moment here. But employees of the quarter, we are so fortunate to have such a wonderful presentation this evening of employees that really uphold our values as an organization and our mission of providing superior services that inspire community pride. So without further ado, our first recipient is Dave Barber, IT Network Administrator in the Information Technology Department. And Dave was selected based on this contribution. In the past few months, Dave Barber has been a huge help to us at Southwest. Anytime we are having an issue and reach out to him, he goes above and beyond to get the problem fixed in a timely manner. Recently, we received flooring in one of our classrooms, and all of our technology had to be unplugged and moved. When it was finished, staff was having trouble trying to get the projector and sound to work properly. Dave took the time to come over and help us to get everything fixed. In addition, he sat down with our office coordinator to label everything so it was more organized. He also took time to explain to her how it was to be set up so she could understand how to fix any issues in the future. He was able to collaborate and communicate with us in a way that was easy for us non-tech people to understand. Another example of Dave's passion and willingness to help is when we just had our Wi-Fi down at Southwest. Dave was off that day, but immediately called our front desk and walked us through the process to get our Wi-Fi working again in no time at all. We truly appreciate all Dave does, and we're so happy to have him as a part of the Largo team. Congratulations, Dave Barber. Our next employee of the quarter is Trish Coker, Environmental Specialist 1, Environmental Services Department. And she received the award due to this nomination. Trish always goes above and beyond when it comes to helping her customers, coworkers, and management. She is the first environmental control employee to be called upon for almost any task. She provides superior customer service to the businesses she inspects and exhibits a genuine desire to help. She's able to listen to her customers with empathy and explain why complying with the Largo Code of Ordinances is so important. This has been especially important during the pandemic, when a local pizza restaurant expressed concerns about losing customers during the pandemic. Trish put them in contact with the Community Development Department to see if they could provide any ideas on how to bring in more business. This suggestion demonstrates Trish's creativity when helping her customers. Trish never gives up on a customer. She recently got a business to put in a grease interceptor after several years of refusing to do so. While everyone else had given up on this customer, Trish continued to work with them until the job was done. Her passion to get jobs accomplished and her enthusiasm is shared by the entire environmental control team. Congratulations, Trish, on your outstanding contribution, and you really deserve to be named Employee of the Quarter. Our third recipient is Preston Jarvis, Multimedia Technician, Administration, and Communications and Engagement Department. Preston Jarvis collaborated with the Largo Police K-9 team and Special Events Sergeant to produce a demonstration video for the Great American Teach-In. Due to COVID regulations, the schools were unable to have volunteers in the classrooms. Largo PD came up with the idea of creating a demo video that could be distributed to all the schools in the city of Largo. There was a short time period to coordinate, create, and edit the video to make the deadline for the Great American Teach-In. This was a unique project and was handled with passion and creativity by Mr. Jarvis. The police department received many compliments from the local schools about the video, and they were so appreciative that it was done for the kids. The kids especially liked when the dogs wore the cameras so they could see it from the dog's perspective. Extremely creative project and a job well done by all involved. Other fantastic projects that Preston has recently produced include Happy Holidays Largo, Team Largo Holiday Carolers. I have an affinity to that one. Sharing that Largo cares through the City of Largo Mask Initiative. Helping spread the word about Largo's sustainability composting program in both English and Spanish. Teaming up with Largo Police Senior Services to share senior empowerment. All of these videos and all of these outreach efforts are due to Preston's creativity, collaboration, and integrity to produce an amazing product. Congratulations, Preston. We have one operational manager of the quarter, and it's Jessica Crawley, Recreation Program Manager, Recreation Parks and Arts. Jessica Crawley, our manager of the Highland Recreation Complex, has once again had an outstanding quarter. Her facility hosted the city's vaccination site and provided staffing to assist with checking temperatures at the door. The facility was praised by numerous members of the public for how smoothly the operation was handled. Jessica rearranged a number of classes and programs to accommodate this important event for the city and community. Jessica is currently serving on the city's DEI, or Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and team, and in tandem with another RPA, or Recreation Parks and Arts staff member, has spearheaded a DEI, or Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion initiative that includes training to address strategies with both public as well as team members. Jessica has rallied the Highland team to remain positive and upbeat throughout the pandemic closure, reopening and ongoing uncertainties. She has tasked each of her staff to be models for responsible programming that allows patrons to return with confidence to childcare, fitness, athletic, and social programs so desperately needed by the community. Under her leadership, Participation numbers continue to increase. Jessica was responsible for the development of the functional training room at Highland, which has been a great addition to the fitness program. Virtual learning childcare was quickly developed at Highland for parents who had to work but did not want their children to attend in person at school just yet. Jessica started the LTV, Largo Teen Volunteer Program, several years ago, which has been very successful. After developing the program and engaging dozens of youth in voluntary service, she has now handed off the program to a supervisor, but stays involved and supportive of their service projects. Thank you, Jessica, for all you do for our city of Largo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Next on the agenda is citizen comment. If you'd like to speak to the commission about anything that's not listed as an agenda item, now's your time. Diane, do we have anybody?
I have no cards or emails or anyone on Zoom.
Is it me? Okay, hearing none. The next item would be the approval of the agenda for this evening.
Pull item 4, please.
Item 4,
Move approval.
move approval in a second.
Second.
All right, motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion on the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Diane, can we hear consent docket?
Item 5, authorization to renew property insurance coverage through Wallace, Welch, and Willingham for the policy period from April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2022 in the amount of $825,056. Item 6, authorization to purchase an approved scheduled replacement asphalt patching truck for the Department of Public Works Streets and Stormwater Division from Tampa Truck Center in accordance with Florida Sheriff's Association contract number FSA 20-VEH18 in the approximate amount of $202,603. Item 7, authorization to purchase Dell computer mounts with installation for police cruisers from Motorola Solutions in the amount of $51,500. Item 8, authorization to purchase police vehicle radio equipment from Motorola Solutions in the estimated amount of $112,759. Item 9, authorization to purchase 10 new in-car video systems from WatchGuard Video Incorporated for police cruisers in the estimated amount of $60,600. Item 10, authorization to purchase 24 in-car video systems with accessories from WatchGuard Video Incorporated in the estimated amount of $145,500. Item 11, authorization to purchase vehicle computer equipment from Dell Marketing LP in accordance with Florida State Contract number 432-11500-WSCA-15-ACS in the estimated amount of $59,700. Item 12, awarded bid number 21-B-716 Median Landscape Project East Bay Drive to Morelli Landscaping Incorporated in the amount of $95,870.25.
Okay, you've heard the consent docket, minus item 4. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the consent docket without commission discussion, including staff background provided in the commission packets.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, Commissioner Gerard.
Yes, this is the authorization to renew excess workers' compensation coverage with preferred governmental insurance trust through Welch, and Willingham for the year beginning April 1st. I was just wondering, do we have any, because our workers' compensation is, for the most part, self-insured,
We are self-insured.
do we have any numbers on the number of cases we might have per year, the amount of workers' compensation that we pay out over a period of year or years? Because I can understand it can fluctuate a lot.
Absolutely. It's pretty consistent. The amount we spend on the program is about $1 million a year with regards to the insurance, the stop-loss coverage that we're approving this evening, about $250 or so. The third-party administrator we use, which is John Zaystern, and the medical claims we pay. Additionally, we've got reserves that we also need to mind, and so those ebb and flow. They can increase and decrease, but it's pretty consistent. We have probably about 50 active claims at any given time. A third to all, it can be a half of them don't even work for the city anymore. So as far as, active claims that we're managing at any given time. And there's probably under 5 claims in the last 10 to 15 years that have triggered the stop loss level. So the program's managed pretty tight with how we look at the claims, how we ensure we're being proactive with any potential dangerous condition that might be there, and mitigate that accordingly. But those are a few general statistics about the program. So
All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Nice to know that we keep a handle on
We
this.
do. We're on it every day.
All right. Well,
Want to be a safe place.
Yeah, thank
sure.
you, thank you. I move to approve authorization to renew excess workers' compensation coverage with Preferred Governmental Insurance Trust through Wallace, Welch, and Willingham for the period from April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2022 for $289,544.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is item 13, Resolution 2289.
Good evening, Commission, I guess. Gotta find where everybody is on the screen tonight. Tonight, I am requesting approval of Resolution 2289, which is approving a substantial amendment to the Community Development Block Grant Fiscal Year 2019-2020 Action Plan. This is the action plan that encompassed additional funding and projects and activities for the COVID-related CDBG money that we've been allocated through HUD. And so this is one step toward getting that funding released from HUD. There are several different revisions throughout the action plan. One substantial item is that since the substantial amendment we did last summer, there was an additional $500,012 on top of the original $328,370 that we were allocated through HUD. And so this amendment incorporates that amount as well for a total of $128,382. Then also the projects have been updated. Originally, when we did our substantial amendment last summer to incorporate that first amount, everything was changing so quickly, we put in an amendment for kind of a broad scope of projects or activities that could be utilized as we continue to evaluate the needs of the community. And so we have refined those through our community recovery team that the city had established, and we're really focusing in on public services specifically that are focused on economic recovery for families that were vulnerable even before the pandemic and that have been hit throughout the pandemic as well, to try and get them more economically stable, which also includes eviction prevention funding and also some funding toward access to food distribution as well. So those items have been added into the project cost. And then we also have expanded what was added on the alternate projects list. And in the event that there's additional rounds of funding coming, what we'd like to do is continue to be able to fund the projects that we selected through our application process for this $828,000 and look toward any of those that we were unable to fund as well during that time. With that, I'm happy to answer questions, and staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Resolution number 2289, a resolution of the City of Largo, Florida, approving a second substantial amendment to the fiscal year 2019 through 2020 annual action plan for the City of Largo Community Development Block Grant, (CDBG program) to incorporate coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security (CARES Act) CDBG funding (CDBG-CV) in the amount of $500,012 and clarify funding uses in the expected resources section, revising the CV-CI emergency project in the projects section, adding items to the alternate projects list related to preparation for, response to, and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, authorizing the submittal of the substantial amendment to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development (HUD), authorizing the city manager or his designee to accept said grant upon approval by HUD, and providing for an effective date.
This is a public hearing. Diane, do you have any cards
I
or
have no cards and no one on Zoom or public comment.
questions from the commission? Hearing none, I'll certainly take a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2289.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Earl.
And congratulations on going through this because it's quite the package.
Next on the agenda, item number 14, stormwater utility ordinance.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Great. This ordinance makes two changes to the stormwater utility rate structure and also increases stormwater utility rates. The item was discussed at great length by the City Commission at the work session on January the 12th, and I would be happy to answer any additional questions.
Ordinance number 2021-38, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending Chapter 23, Article 3, Stormwater Utility of the City of Largo Code of Ordinances by amending the definition of equivalent residential unit (ERU) by increasing the square footage equal to 1 ERU, by amending the method of calculating the stormwater utility fees for high-density residential uses, and by increasing the rate charged per ERU for calculating stormwater utility fees, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
This is the second reading of this ordinance and a public hearing. Diane, do you have any cards or comments?
I have no public comments.
Questions from the commission?
I move to adopt ordinance number 2021-38 on second and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'm sorry. Commissioner Finger, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. I just wanted to confirm, I had asked City Manager Schubert if we received any comments after our last meeting. And he had said that if he would like to answer that question regarding whether there was anything between last time, our last discussion and today.
We haven't, I don't believe we received any in the city manager's office. I believe Mr. Adams has received at least one contact in his department.
We actually received another one today. So we've received two comments, which we've discussed the changes with both parties.
Residents or businesses?
Pardon?
Are they residents or businesses?
Residential or business?
One was residential. Actually, both were residential. One is actually looking into the 25% discount for maintaining a stormwater retention system within their property. And the other just wanted a little more information on what was driving the rate increase, which is really, we haven't had a rate increase for stormwater since 2015. So operating costs have increased since 2015, and there are a couple large capital projects in the stormwater fund, and I'll be sending that information to that individual. He was just looking for information.
Okay, Commissioner Fager, I apologize for not noticing you right away. I'll do better at that. Okay.
Thank you.
Motion and a second. Were there any other questions or discussion on this? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Good job, Kim.
Thank you.
Next up is item number 15, the second reading of ordinance number 2021-39.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2021-39, authorizing the sale of real property at Largo Lake Villas to Carl and Alicia Zabauer. There have been no changes since first reading. I'm available for questions.
Ordinance number 2021-39, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, authorizing the conveyance of the real property described as Largo Lake Villas, Unit 1, Water Lot 1, Plat Book 53, page 7, to Carl Zabauer and Alicia Zabauer, providing for an effective date.
This is the second reading and a public hearing on this. Diane, do you have any cards?
I have no public comment.
No comments? In that case, I'll take a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2021-39 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Moving on to legislative matters, item number 16, approval of a professional services agreement.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mark Byers, Facilities Manager. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to promote this project to you all. We have been working for the last several months on getting a designer for the new Bayhead complex. The RFQ was sent out. We had six firms that submitted. We had a selection committee that consisted of RPA staff, sustainability staff, administration, and Public Works. After we interviewed all of the candidates, we decided, the 6 candidates, as a group, we ranked Wanamaker Jensen the #1 firm. This project, as you recall, is to replace the 1970 structure that was built to a more sustainable and resilient building. It's something that can be more accessible to more people in that area. Under the direction of the city manager, we had spent some time negotiating the scope and fee that has been attached to this memo. It's well within our budget. Staff recommends approval, and I will have any questions that you might like to ask.
Thank you, Mark. Diane, do you have any public comment?
I have no public comment.
Questions from the commission?
I do.
Yes, sir. Mr. Smith.
Am I correct? They're the ones who did the community center, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Old time. All right. Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I'll be happy to take a motion.
I have a question.
Mr. Gerard?
I actually pressed my button, too.
That's okay.
All right.
John's on.
When are we going to, would we anticipate to see some designs and have a commission discussion regarding design?
If approved, the design portion of this is approximately scheduled, I believe, for 8 to 10 weeks, so we can have a concept. The actual process through construction documents will be roughly completing around mid-August, early August. Coming back to commission, I can't answer that question, but I'm sure we will be providing that information as we go forward.
But the commission will have an opportunity for input into the concept.
Yes.
A lot of input into the concept, I imagine. So, thank you for that.
Commissioner Smith?
I know some of us commissioners before, when we were talking about some of this, we voiced our concerns about some of the design. Will those be before also included in, or will we have to bring those back up again when?
I believe that they will be advanced forward. I know that Joan has quite a list.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions, here or remotely? If not, I'd take a motion.
I move to approve professional services agreement and scope and fee to Wanamaker Jensen Architects, Inc. for design services for the Bayhead Action Park.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And the one we've all been waiting for.
Oh, well, somebody's been waiting for it.
I guess is this going to be Susan or me?
It's going to be you.
It's you.
Well, well, it's just funny how the world turns, isn't it? I've been in a different chair before. But in all seriousness, included in your commission packet were the comments and scores, ratings given to Mr. Schubert for his annual evaluation and compensation package. Personally, speaking for myself, I think the city's made great strides under his leadership. I think the organization, the administration, the leadership team, relationships with other governmental entities and the community in general has really been great under Mr. Schubert's leadership. And while I can't make a motion to approve this compensation package, I certainly would. This, do you have any public input on this one?
I have no public comments.
And do we have any commission input on this one?
Yes. I just want to say that it's a pleasure working with Mr. Schubert. He is professional, he's informed, he understands the issues, is forward-thinking, and, leads a great team and has really shown what this city can be and is moving us forward in an exemplary fashion. I'm just thrilled to be able to work with you.
Commissioner Smith, did you have?
I've enjoyed working with you, Mr. Schubert, and agree, and thank you for when I have had a question or concern, you've directed me in the right area or addressed it. I do agree with the mayor a little on the school board item. I think that's something we should take up and improve, but I see under your leadership we can do that and we can accomplish that. So thank you so much.
I see the actual vice mayor has his hand up.
Good afternoon. Just wanted to say I agree with all of the comments that have been made up here so far. I know I didn't write a lot of things or comments in my report or my review, I should say, but I do take this seriously, and I had a very in-depth discussion with the city manager in regards to how I reviewed it, and like he's done a fantastic situation. We have come out in very good shape. So I think that in of itself is something to very much be proud of and accomplished for. So I just wanted to say that great job this year, Henry, and I look forward to working again with you over the next few years.
Any other comments? Everything, and Henry, it is a great pleasure to work with you, and you do have a fantastic open door policy and transparency and leading the city and working with the commission. And I think that's everybody working so well together is what helps the city really move forward. But as Vice Mayor Robinson said, the way the city handled COVID was fantastic, and a lot of positive response from the citizens, and that reflects back to you as well. Thank you.
Any others? Commissioner Finger?
Everybody said all good stuff, so there's not much more I can add to that. I'd also say, so along the lines of Vice Mayor Robinson, there's a lot of, I like our visioning as well, and being willing to go outside, if for lack of a better term, go outside the box and actually be willing to take steps that a lot of other cities wouldn't. and certainly wouldn't during the time, as said, of also managing COVID responsibly and thinking, hey, what should we do years from now, where others are thinking, how do we even get to tomorrow? So I think that speaks volumes about the city and about City Manager Schubert. So thank you.
Any further comments? The only thing I would add is it's no joy to be evaluated by 7 individuals. Most people in most positions are evaluated by one direct supervisor, or I suppose in the corporate world, a CEO gets evaluated by the board of directors, but here in municipal government, it's 7 of us. The thing that makes this all work is that we have such regular communication with the manager, certainly weekly, but oftentimes several times a week. And the communications is what really makes it all work. So I really appreciate that. That, along with the vast experience and the longevity here with the city, allows you to anticipate hot spots as they come up. And I, for one, really appreciate that. So with that, if someone would like to give Mr. Schubert a pay raise.
I move to approve a salary increase equal to the pay raise that is approved for non-represented employees in the fiscal year 2021 budget for the city manager, Henry Schubert, effective April 1st, 2021.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We do public comments?
He asked for it, I think.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Are you sure there's no public comment?
No, I'm sure.
All right, then. On the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations, Henry.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Henry.
Next up, item 18, ordinance number 2021-41 through, wow, a whole bunch of them.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Acting Vice Mayor and City Commissioners. The next 7 ordinances are a first reading for the annexation of 7 properties. The total taxable value for this group is a little over $650,000 and will add an additional 2.25 acres to the municipal boundary. The land use of these properties are residential low and commercial general. Incentives that were provided to the property owners through annexation agreements include in-city sanitary sewer rates, in-city recreation parks and arts rates, and trash and recycling pickup service. All requirements as specified in Chapter 171 of the state statutes have been met, except for the advertisements, which will be published before the public hearings, specifically on March 24th and March 31st. All 7 properties are contiguous to the city's municipal boundaries through previous annexations and together help to reduce the size of existing enclaves. The ordinance proposes to annex property that is compact, as that term is defined in Chapter 171. Therefore, it is staff's opinion that all of the properties may be annexed voluntarily in accordance with Chapter 171. The Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners and Pinellas County Planning have been noticed and to date have not provided any objections. All city departments reviewed these annexations and indicated services can be provided to the properties. Staff is available for questions at this time.
Ordinance number 2021-41, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 338 14th Avenue Southwest, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
This is a public hearing. Diane, do you have any cards or comments?
I have no public comment.
Would it be appropriate to ask if you have any on any of these?
I do not.
No. And if you get some online, you'll let me know.
I will.
Okay. Take a motion?
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-41 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance number 2021-42, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 315 15th Avenue Southwest, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition, according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-42 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6th, 2021.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance number 2021-43, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 122 16th Avenue Southwest, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-43 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6th, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance number 2021-44, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 2223 Barber Drive, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-44 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance number 2021-45, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 2228 Barber Drive, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-45 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6, 2021.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance number 2021-47, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 13701 Audrey Lane, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential urban, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-47 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance number 2021-48, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located on the west side of U.S. Highway 19 North, north of Ulmerton Road, south of 142nd Avenue North, and east of 66th Street North, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of commercial general, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-48 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Next item, number 19, ordinance 2021-49.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ordinance 2021-49 is a budget amendment in the amount of $6,200,000. This budget amendment actually will do a few things. The first of which is it will create a new capital project fund for the City Hall project. This will allow us to track all related project expenditures within a standalone fund for a project this large. This budget amendment also transfers part of an existing appropriation in the general fund that was budgeted this year for the initial cost to get the project started. It will move that budget appropriation into this fund so that we can track that there once this is set up. This also will add an appropriation to that capital project fund for the land purchases and related costs that have been underway so far this year. Those were not initially budgeted in FY21 because we did not know the estimated cost of real estate acquisition. So now that we have those costs and some of the other related startup costs that are going to be incurred this year, this budget amendment will appropriate that amount in the new City Hall Capital Project Fund. You'll also notice that there aren't revenues or fund balances being appropriated. Those will be appropriated in the FY22 budget with our planned debt proceeds from bonds for the City Hall Capital Fund, or for the City Hall Capital Project. So with that, I'm available to answer any other questions you might have.
Ordinance number 2021-49, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the fiscal year 2021 budget adopted by resolution number 2279 by appropriating expenditures in the amount of $3,400,000 in the General Operating Department City Hall Capital Project Fund budget and transferring an existing appropriation of $2,800,000 within the General Operating Department General Fund budget to the General Operating Department City Hall Capital Project Fund, providing for an effective date.
This is a public hearing. Do you have any cards or comments, Dan?
I have no public comment.
Questions from the commission? Commissioner Smith?
So for a commissioner or a resident at home, this would make it more easy also for staff to keep track of it and wanting to keep an eye on where everything is. And I think this is a good a good way to do it. It keeps us all in the open and everything like that. So and can track everything. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Gerard?
This will be exclusively for the City Hall project. No other projects will be dovetailed into this, whatever. And all funds for the City Hall project will move into this particular fund, and that will be the accounting. So no matter where it comes from bonds or whatever, it all goes into here, correct?
Correct. The debt proceeds will go in here, and all of the estimated construction costs for the City Hall project will be reflected in here. I know we'll be continuing to work on some of the allocation between things like the CRA fund and the general fund, and that will be presented as part of the FY22 budget and actually part of this upcoming capital improvement program.
Great deal. It's smart.
Well, I had a question. For people at home, no money got spent tonight, assuming this gets approved. This is just a way of tracking all expenses and revenues associated with this. And with that, I assume it's different intervals along the way. There'll be reports that are publicly available to how this money's been utilized.
Correct. This will make it so that this fund is created this year, and this will start to be displayed as part of the FY22 operating budgets. When that proposed budget is released on July 1st, it will include information for this new fund and the associated expenditures for the City Hall Capital Project. And make everything a little more transparent and visible there.
You took the words right out of my mouth for the comments made by the other commissioners. Really, it's the whole concept is about transparency. It's all in one place, right?
Correct.
Any other comments here or at home? No? Then I'll take a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 2021-49 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on April 6, 2021.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Will. All right, now I have to insert this little disclaimer in here. At this point, I will now recess the City Commission meeting and convene the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting.
Do we take staff reports first, or is this just out of line, out of order?
There's none.
None?
No staff reports, so we don't have to take any. Okay.
Good evening. This item is for approval of the annual report for fiscal year 2020. This action is required in order to fulfill statutory requirements for the CRA. Similar to past reports, the fiscal year 2020 annual report provides an overview of demographics within the city's 2 redevelopment districts, a summary of the redevelopment activities over the past year, notable private and public investments that have taken place, and future public improvement projects. This year, a funding breakdown for each future public improvement project has been included, highlighting which funds the money will come out of. 2 new pages were added to this year's report with snapshots of the CRA expenditures in the standardized format required by Pinellas County. The spreadsheet format allows Pinellas County to categorize the activity of the CRA into different typologies, such as administrative operations, transportation, infrastructure, economic development, and community engagement. The spreadsheet indicated that the majority of projects the CRA spent funds on was the infrastructure spending activity type, with the largest encumbrance being the West Bay Drive corridor improvements. The audit report is still undergoing review by the city auditor. Upon approval, the fiscal year 2020 annual report will be filed with the Largo City Clerk and with the Auditor General. Copies will also be sent to the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners and the required county department for public inspection, as well as the Pinellas County Legislative Delegation. Staff is available to answer any questions at this time.
Commissioners? Commissioner Hall?
I don't have a question, just a compliment, because this report is one of the best reports I've ever seen. I mean, it doesn't get more transparent, as everybody loves to use that word these days, because it's right there in beautiful teal blue and color instead of black and white. But it's excellent job, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also like the report. The question I have is, I know the county commission, when I was watching one of their meetings, they were talking about CRAs and they want it to be kept apprised. I know we're filing it with them. Will you all be presenting it to them to keep them informed of where our CRA stands right now in the coming soon?
I don't believe the report is presented to them. I will refer to Carissa right here, Economic Development Manager, who can maybe explain this a little bit more.
I only ask because I know a county commissioner that wanted to kind of keep everything, apprised of how everything was going. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to, showcase Largo CRA.
Yes, so the Pinellas County staff has provided us a standardized spreadsheet, which is why the additional 2 pages were added this year in order to standardize the reporting from all of the CRAs in the county, in order to provide this new reporting method to the county so that they can have a better, clearer picture, compare apples to apples for all of the CRAs. So the information will be provided to them, but by Pinellas County staff.
Okay. Could we, I know we're sending it to the county, but could we attach it to each commissioner individual? So if they're interested in it, and if they have any kind of questions, we can highlight the basic top things that, are in there that they could see. I just think this would be a good opportunity for us to showcase our CRA to some new county commissioners. So.
Yes, staff can do that.
Thank you.
Can send it individually. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I just want to say that this demonstrates how active we've been in our community redevelopment efforts. And we have a lot of projects that we've worked on consistently over a number of years, and so many of them are coming to fruition. And in the next couple of years, we're going to be seeing a lot more too. So it's just an outstanding work by the department. So thank you so much for that.
And to piggyback on that, I'm fairly certain that the Community Development Director is in the process of forwarding this report to the legislative delegation, since CRAs are such a hot topic in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
It's, and I would suggest perhaps even at the federal level, when they talk about different opportunity, different initiatives going on from the federal government, to take something like this and showcase it, because it really is nice work. Thank you for it. Anything further on item number 20? Anything at home? Okay. Item number 21.
Is there a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I apologize for that. Got ahead of myself. I will take a motion.
I move to approve the Community Redevelopment Agency annual report for fiscal year 2020.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we'd be ready for item number 21.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, honorable commissioners. The purpose of this item is to provide an update on the status of the Third Amendment to the agreement for option and right to repurchase real property for the 500 block of West Bay Drive. The last time staff was before this board was on January 5th, and the board agreed to enter into a second amendment to the repurchase agreement with Largo LLC for the purpose of extending the development deadline for the 500 block of West Bay Drive to May 11th, 2021. The purpose of the extension was to facilitate time for the negotiations and creation of a new joint venture entity with a new partner, PMG. The new entity would enter into a third amended repurchase agreement, and the representative for the new partner has met with staff and the city attorney's office. Staff is currently working with the new partners on finalizing the third amendment to the repurchase agreement. Staff is recommending certain project milestones under the agreement. The previous agreement provided a period of 2 years for the development. There have been some updates as of Thursday afternoon on the project milestones. To provide a breakdown of the milestones, the new entity as a grantee must agree to fully develop the property within 24 months from the date of the issuance of the first building permit for the mixed-use development in accordance with the West Bay Drive Community Redevelopment District Plan. And leading up to that time, the grantee must submit their request for a development agreement within 30 days of the effective date of the agreement. The grantee must obtain a fully executed development agreement for the project within 12 months from submittal to Largo for the formal request from the development agreement. And the grantee would agree to obtain approval of any density bonuses, transfer of development rights, or density intensity averaging necessary to construct the project with at least 275 units within 12 months of the effective date of the third amended agreement. The additional terms include that the grantee agrees to obtain a development order within 12 months from the effective date of the third amendment. Of the development agreement. And the grantee agrees to commence construction of the project within 60 days from the date of the issuance of the development order. So this essentially sets the milestones for a period of 4 years and 3 months. Additional language that the city is including in the agreement between the two parties is regarding the development team. And if there are changes to their development team, they must notify the city in writing so the city can evaluate and discuss proposed changes to ensure consistency with the agreement. And the agreement is currently being reviewed by PMG and Mr. Gary Taven, representation for Largo Central LLC, and the agreement will be brought back to the board for approval at the May 4th City Commission and CRA meeting. Staff is prepared to answer questions at this time.
Questions from the commission?
So the latest word that you have is that this joint venture is moving forward. They are just finalizing language. The issues or the conversations have worked out, so they're just finalizing, paper to put ink to. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And how soon should we be hearing about that?
The agreement will be presented to the board for approval at the May 4th meeting.
At the May 4th meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mr. Zinnott?
Let me just update it. So there is a purchase and sale agreement between the existing entity that owns the property and a new entity that was created by PMG developers with a very creative name called 500-600 West Bay Drive LLC. But there is a purchase and a sale agreement between them and Gary Tay's entity. Obviously, there's various conditions that will need to be met along the way before they actually close on the property, but their agreement has been signed.
So the property will be closed by the May 4th meeting?
No. They won't be closing until after they get their density bonus approved and the development agreement is approved. So they won't actually close probably for a while.
So the agreement number 3 here that we're working on will be with what entity?
Well, it has to be with the present owner of the property, but we have the developer, 500, 600 West Bay Drive, signing the agreement as well, acknowledging it's the agreement, and that they would be bound by it when they buy the property. We also have added language in the draft of the Third Amendment that we sent to the developer, language that will set out the development team, the principles of the development team, and it provides that any changes to that team will be required to be reviewed and approved by the City Commission. So what Mr. Schubert and I were trying to protect against is we don't know who is behind 500, 600 West Bay Drive LLC. It's a Delaware corporation, and in Delaware, it's not like in Florida where you can go online and find out who's actually behind the corporation. So since we have no idea who that is and whether that's going to be this PMG or somebody else, we wanted to add some language that specified here's who we're getting as the development team, and we're going to have some control over that.
That names individuals or corporations?
It'll probably be a corporation, and then what I asked them for is the principals of that corporation that will be the managers of the project. So that may be one or more people, depending upon how they are organized. But I've requested a name of an entity. There must be, in an LLC, there has to be somebody who's the manager of that corporation. So I'm guessing it's probably, we're hoping it's PMG. And then they'll list whoever they're going to have as the project managers or whatever name or title they give them. That's what we've asked their attorney for.
And this agreement that we'll be signing, that takes 2 public hearings to do?
No.
Just the one?
Just one.
So on May 4th, we can, it'll come to us and then we act on that and that's it?
Right.
Okay.
And the reason we want to do it by the May 4th meeting is because on May 11th, the extension that we gave them expires. And so
Right.
technically on May 12th, we could demand that we buy the property back.
Right.
So we're trying to get everything in place before May 11th.
Okay. Well, thank you. And thank you, Chris.
Any further questions? Thank you very much. This requires no motion. I see that right there in big letters.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will now adjourn the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting and reconvene as the City Commission for items from the dais. Mr. Zimmett?
I have nothing tonight.
I'm going to skip myself here. Commissioner Smith?
This Saturday at Largo Central Park is they're doing a market. They're making up for a couple weeks ago when the weather was rough. They're going to do on March 20th from 10 to 4. It's called an Earth-Friendly Market. And it's in Central Park, so everybody come on out and support businesses and support the city on this market. And there's many going to be coming down the road. So keep it tuned to the calendar on the city website and look forward to seeing as many faces out there, or socially distance. This Saturday, again, at Central Park from 10 to 4, it's Earth-Friendly Market. And that's all I have.
That's all you got?
I can go on.
Commissioner Taylor?
Is it me? I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gerard?
I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day, a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day, and especially to my wife, whose family hails from all of the British Isles. Mr. Schubert, I'd like to ask, have you heard anything about the electricity at the Triangle, at the Gateway Triangle?
Unfortunately, I was not able to get an update today. The reason there's no electricity at the downtown plaza or there at the Triangle to the entrance of downtown is we are still waiting for Duke to provide electrical service to that property. So it's something that's been going on for an extended period of time, several months, but we're continuing to work with them to try to get power to that corner.
Can we get an update as to, their best wish as to when this might happen? Because we've been waiting, how many months now?
A year.
5 months? I was thinking 6 months. 6 months.
Yes.
To get electricity to a piece of property that had electricity already there when we started this project, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody knows why it disappeared, right?
That is correct.
Can we get an answer? Do you think Duke Energy can kind of put something together for us, let us know when we might be able to see if the lights work there?
Yes, we need to get a timeline from them as to when they expect to actually provide power to that corner.
I would say I'm sure they're nice people, but I'm not that sure. But, I would sure like to get an answer as to when we're
Yes.
going to get power to that investment that we made into our gateway.
We were going to put an informational sign there, but it won't light up.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They
right.
use placards.
Yeah.
I keep getting people to ask me, what is that thing with the paper plates on it on the corner?
I call it clown buttons. Other people
All
call
right. Vice Mayor, the real Vice Mayor, magnificent Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you to everybody for allowing me to join virtually this evening and have some, I'm having a quarantine here at the house. My wife and daughter and I are in the protocol, so we're going to be here for another couple of days. Fortunately, everybody's doing all right now. So just want to say thank you for allowing me to join, and then just not to jump on or add on too much to what Commissioner Gerard just said, but I think we all are extremely frustrated with that project. The extent of the actual construction of that project ran over because there was several mistakes made, and now we're over a year since we started that project. We still haven't been able to go and turn on any lights or see what the actual thing's supposed to look like. So my level of frustration is absolutely rising with that project, and would like to hold somebody accountable for something out there. So it's probably not Duke's fault that we don't have any practice or any energy or electricity out there right now. But yeah, we definitely need to hold somebody accountable for the extent of the time that it takes to get this thing done. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Holk?
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate again our employees of the quarter and recognize how important they all truly are to making the city run as well as it does. And the extra steps that these people have made and are recognized each quarter is tremendous, and I thank you. And also, everybody, enjoy your day tomorrow safely, and get that corned beef fired up. I got mine all ready for tomorrow morning, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you.
For me, I'll insert myself here. Thank you to the mayor and vice mayor for allowing me this opportunity. It's not easy to be Vice Mayor Robinson's stunt double, but it is an honor. And I appreciate the latitude you all have given me up here tonight. It just kind of, we got through it, so thank you.
You did a fine job, sir.
Yeah, and I hope those at home are feeling better soon, or their loved ones are feeling better soon, so they can get back to work. Sergeant Lazinski, you have anything tonight? Nothing? Mr. Schubert, the floor is yours.
Just thank you very much for the very positive evaluation and the pay increase, and I'm looking forward to a very positive and productive upcoming year.
Starting with the illumination of the tower.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Thank you very much. No other business?
Oh, I have 2 action items. I had a request by Commissioner Smith that staff provide copies of the CRA annual report to each Pinellas County Commissioner, and a request by Commissioner Gerard that staff request a time estimate from Duke for providing electricity to the Triangle property.
Very good. No other business before the commission? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.